What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the Growth Call. I'm your host today. John is doing kitchen table and traveling today, so you get me. And I'm excited to spend the next 30 to 40 minutes with you, kind of going over what our topic is today. But before we ever get started, we do these calls. We're passionate about helping real estate agents figure out this business of real estate, right? And so down below, you're going to have the sevenfigurecall.com. Book a free call with us. So that way we can help you map out the second half of this year. And I don't know about you guys, I'm super excited about what the second half brings. I think there's going to be a lot of opportunity that comes from the second half of this year. And from August 17th, I think there's going to be a big opportunity as well. And that leads us into the topic that we're going to talk about today, which is the value advantage and how to maximize your worth, how to create so much value around what you bring to the table when you're talking to your buyers and your sellers, that they never even question the compensation that you put out in front of them. And so, this value advantage is something that, we created on our team here in Columbus. It came from, the teachings of Jay and Mike and Kitchens and Wally and Cliff from the NAEA days. And people only question our pricing in the absence of value. And so as we go through this today, we're going to talk about ways that we can generate value and how can we speak to our potential clients, because sometimes the value that we're going to bring are going to be to potential clients. And then what value can we bring to people when they are our clients, and what can we bring to people after we've already helped them do a transaction with us? And so as we go through some of these and I share some of these examples, and I talk about, differentiation and all of those things, I want you to keep this in mind. And this is something that, Kitchens told me, probably about a year ago. And as I was kind of building out this training, which is value unarticulated is value unappreciated. And so when we think of the word value, it's very vague. It's subjective to the end user, meaning you may see value in this thing and another person doesn't, right? But if me as the agent is not explaining or articulating what I'm bringing to the table at a high level, at a middle level, and at a low level, right? Maybe small value adds, medium value adds, and big ticket value adds. If I'm not explaining every one of those, then it can't be appreciated. And I think that's where August 17th and the new landscape of real estate kind of can be exciting, right? Because there's going to be opportunities when you're sitting down with a buyer or you're sitting down with the seller. And we're not here to talk bad on any of our competition, any other real estate agent, or anything else, right? My job is to create doubt. And I was just talking to an agent about this right before this call. My job is to create doubt in the consumer's mind, the person sitting across the table from me, as to why they would want to interview another agent. How can I create so much value, explain all of the benefits that they get when they decide to hire me and my team and my brokerage, that they would even want to think about interviewing someone else? And what that takes is it breaks it down into four segments, right? Value before they ever become a client, value during the process, value after, and then through our partnerships, right? So those are the four things that we're going to talk about today. And I'll share some examples as we kind of work through this, so that maybe it sparks some things in your mind that maybe you can bring to the table. And I would love to see it in the comments as well. Maybe throw in some of the values that you're bringing to your clients. I'm all for community over competition. Collaboration is what we want. Collaboration is what makes us better. Collaboration is actually what raises the bar of our industry that a lot of us agents talk about, yet a lot of us agents actually don't collaborate on. or even with our peers. And so before we ever go into contracts, right? And again, we're not just talking about big ticket things. I think when we think about value advantage and things that we can bring to the table, I think this is the same thing that happens when we're talking about our sphere of influence, right? There just becomes a mind block, right? Like we can't, all of a sudden we can't think of everything that we do. And so what are the things that we can be sharing with our potential clients before they ever decide to work with me? What are some of the values and things that I bring to the table, right? Something simple. How can I let the client know that I fully understand the current real estate market? And one of the things I say is I want to make sure that you're educated on today's market, because I'm a believer that our market changes every single day. Our market changes every single day because interest rates change every single day. Pricing changes every single day. Opportunities create different, different markets. One market in this neighborhood may be different than the neighborhood right next to it, right? And so how do I get the consumer to understand that I know what's happening in today's market? And this takes me back to Jordan Belfort training, the straight line strategic. And, he always says you got to be sharp as a tack, enthusiastic as hell, and you got to speak with authority, right? So tonality, speed of speech, right? Speaking with authority, actually knowing your stuff, right? That's going to come across to the person sitting across the table from you or on the other line. If it's a phone call, that's going to come across to them that you know your stuff. Are you going to be able to speak on days on market within, your geographical location, but also maybe even within a school district or a neighborhood? Do you know your average days on market? Do you know your absorption rate? Do you know how many new listings or active listings are on the market? How many actually went in contract? What's your close percentage, right? What's your average? Maybe if you're talking to a buyer, right? Hey, on average, I'm able to get X off a list price, or hey, I'm actually able to get, on 98% of all of my offers, I'm able to get a home warranty, right? Do you know your stats that you can speak through the phone or across the table to someone, right? That you understand the current real estate market and what's happening with the trends. Access to properties in real time. Now, you and I, as a real estate agent, may think that that's common, right? This may be something small that we overlook. But if you're not actually letting the consumer know, think about how we search online. Outside of Amazon, for the most part, we go to multiple websites, right? If you want to buy a car, if you want to buy clothes, we are conditioned to go to multiple websites to try to find the thing that we're looking for. Our buyer clients or our seller clients that are looking to buy are doing the exact same thing. And if they talk to 5 agents and I'm the only agent that says, hey, because you and I have gotten connected, you now have access to every single home that's on the market for sale listed by a real estate agent. And oh, by the way, you actually will get updated within the first 15 minutes of it hitting the MLS. And a lot of times you'll actually find out about that property before even other agents in my marketplace find out about it because they're not paying attention. You have to be able to, again, I said value unarticulated is value unappreciated. I got to be able to articulate that, and that's value, because there are cases and instances in my market, and I don't know about your guys' market, where things still do sell within 12 hours or 24 hours. So speed is necessary, right? In my market, sometimes there's showing restrictions where you can only allow one showing at a time. I know of a situation this past weekend, an agent at a different office that I speak to on a regular basis could not get in to do a showing on a property because there was no openings. Listing agent called for highest and best. If you don't think speed and access to those properties aren't important, you are missing, right? You are missing. My website, my CRM uses an app. Hey, it's easy searching features. Here's some of the tools on the CRM that I use. Hey, you can put in the distance to work or to daycare or to school or whatever the case may be. You can calculate your mortgage. You can contact me, right? You can search for other properties. You can create your own search features, right? Those are things that I have to explain. We take that, right? And we already know those things. but we're competing against the Zillows, the realtor.coms, and any other website and any other agent that they may come across. And so I have to make sure through my conversation or through my presentation that the potential client, right, understands the value of these two things that I'm bringing to them, right, when they decide to work with me. Stay current on market trends, right, for desired areas. Again, one of the best ways to build trust is just by knowing your market. So if you don't know your market, I would challenge you, take 30 minutes, 45 minutes, an hour a day to pull up, different zip codes, different school districts, right, different cities, and really dive into what's happening within the marketplace, right? If you know on average that, hey, in this school district, on average, it's going to take you $20,000 above list price in order to win. If I know that information and I'm competing against 3 other agents that don't know that information, they're guessing, who has the leg up? But I got to be able to explain it in a way that the consumer understands that that's value to them. It may be more convenience, right? Maybe, hey, we don't have to write on 7 different homes, right? Maybe it only takes us 3, right? And then prepare and position the client for the best possible results, right? Based off of their goals, right? So, asking some of the hard questions. I always tell the agents that I coach, like, our job is to understand the full picture of what's going on in the client's life, not just with real estate. Because what if it is, hey, can you pay down this credit card and now your buying power just increased by X, which then takes us to a whole nother neighborhood, right? Or, hey, if I know that this is only a 3-year plan of you buying a house and living here because you plan on relocating, maybe it's not us being super aggressive and buying the nice, updated home. Maybe we need to be more of an equity buyer, and we need to look past some of the paint or the flooring or whatever the case may be. And we do some of those updates ourselves because strategically I have to position you in the marketplace thinking about the end in mind, right? So I have to be able to ask the hard questions. And that's one other way that you can simply separate yourself from the competition is just asking questions that other agents aren't even asking or are afraid to ask. So those are just 4 examples. Obviously, there are plenty more examples that you guys can, whether write down, put it in your presentation, right, articulate it. But those are 4 or 5 that we talk about quite a bit. And then what's some of the value that you can bring to the client during the process? Working in a team environment, whether you're a solo agent or on a team, what does your team bring to the table? How can you create unreasonable hospitality? And what I mean by that, that's a book. Go read that book. Highly suggest that book, Unreasonable Hospitality. But how can we create an experience for the client that they've never had before, right? Whether it's the process is duplicated from one person to the next, and this is just what we do. This is just our standard. To, hey, what are some of the one-offs that we can create, a unique experience around based off of the client themselves? And sometimes working on a team, right, we can do things that offer that solo agents can't because of the amount of business that we do, the partnerships that we have in place, which we'll talk about in a little bit. We can create a little bit more of an experience than some solo agents sometimes because they don't have the capital, the resources, all of those things, the manpower, right, to put it all together. Best strategies to perform in the marketplace. I think one of the areas where I missed early on in my career was the relationship building amongst other agents in my marketplace. I can tell you that because I've done a better job over the last 3-ish, 4 years with getting to know my peers on a more deeper, meaningful level, that we've had deals be put together because of the relationships, right, between one agent and another. being able to ask the hard questions to listing agents in a way that they feel that, they don't necessarily have to share exact information, but they can give you enough information to write the right offer. Working with strategic partners, right? What savings can you bring to the table during the process because of your strategic partners that you have in place? We'll talk about that in a little bit. And if you don't have strategic partners in place, this is a great time for you to look at your business. We're going into the second half of this year. Let's start putting some of those strategic partners in place. And if you don't know where to start, book a call right here, sevenfigurecall.com, and I can help you. John and I can help you. There's also a great training in NAEA archives. It's called Strategic Alliances. I think there's like 80 different businesses or industries that can be impacted by a real estate transaction. How many of those can you go and have a strategic relationship with that could potentially save your client money? We obviously always think about the big ones: lender, title, home warranty, home inspector, insurance agent, but there's so many more, right? Painters, roofers, windows, carpenters, general handyman, HVAC, moving, landscaping, you name it. Again, I think there's just over 80 different partners that you could strategically align with. And there's something that I was always taught early on in my career from NAEA, from John and Jay, Mike, and Wally and Cliff. And that's, if I could save you, by working with me, I could save you hundreds, if not thousands of dollars as you go through the home buying process. And I truly believe that, right? By working with the right home inspector that doesn't kill deals, that truly explains what's going on in a property, right? That alone could save hundreds, if not thousands of dollars, right? Think about that. If you're working with a home inspector that's scaring your client off every single time, well, that's just costing them inspection dollars. Now, I'm not saying lie and hide things, right? I'm talking about educating a client on what's really going on with the property. That is, I could potentially save you hundreds, if not thousands of dollars, let alone, right, having to go back through this process, spend time looking for homes. Maybe I'm spending more money on the second house I have to buy, right? And so that truly matters. And you have to believe that. I believe when you work with me, I can save you hundreds, if not thousands of dollars by going through this process. And we'll talk about that with the strategic partners. And then access to off-market properties. Whether you're a solo agent, a team, right? You all work at a brokerage. Are you prospecting other real estate agents within your brokerage or on your team to create off-market opportunities for your potential buyers and or your sellers? Because sometimes sellers want off-market opportunities, right? They want convenience. They want speed. And so, are you truly finding off markets? I'm trying to put one together right now with an agent on my team. And I can tell you that, if this house did go to the market, we'd probably be spending a little bit more to get it. But what we're offering the sellers, right, by going off market and me putting this together, is convenience, right? Less hassle. We're giving them all of the terms that they want. And it's not always just price, right? It's possession, closing dates, right? No inspections, no remedy, no, closing costs, like all of these other things, right? No showings through the house, right? Maybe they don't want 50 people through their home or 10 people through their home. Maybe they don't want to be inconvenienced during the day, during work, because they got, animals to keep in mind, right? So access to off-market properties. Are you talking to your buyers and sellers about what you can do for them when it comes to off-market opportunities and when they decide to work with you? And then what's some value that you can bring to the table after closing? Can you guarantee a home warranty? Can you offer HVAC servicing, right, at a discounted rate? So think about things that happen within a home that need quarterly or every other year or twice a year type servicing? Could you go and partner with those people down to partnerships, and could you guarantee some of those things to your clients? Again, hundreds, if not thousands, right? If my clients, right, if I can get them a discount on HVAC servicing because of the amount of business that we do, and it saves them, $50 off of servicing, but in reality, right, maybe that's only $100 a year, right? AC in the spring, furnace in the fall, but that allows their AC unit to go another 3-4 years, right, of running and operating. Now I'm saving them thousands of dollars. Raving fans, access, right? Like, what are you providing as a raving fan? My team, we have power washers, air compressors, moving trailers, right? Tools. Think about first-time home buyers, right? Maybe they don't have a ladder yet. Maybe they don't have, some of the tools and things that they need, to hang pictures or whatever the case may be. Part of your raving fan package, can you offer some of those things? And if you don't have those things, guys, it's pretty simple. We have a list, and take the power washer, for example. We had that on our raving fan list for years, but yet we did not have a power washer. But the minute that one of our clients asked for a power washer, I went and bought one. And so now we have it, right? A lot of the things, the ladders and the tools and all that kind of stuff, like, it's just at my house. They're my tools. It's not like these people are getting them, and using them for 3 weeks at a time, right? They're going to rent them out for 2-3 days, right? Use it and bring them back. And obviously, if they're clients of yours, then they're not going to steal things. They're not going to take them from you, all this stuff. Could you set your clients up for, future family wealth programs, right? Strategically partnering with a financial advisor, an insurance agent, helping them get set up, especially on the buy side and even on the listing side, right? A lot of times sellers are walking away with a lot of money. They think that they just, hey, I want to dump it into the house. Okay, well, could we take this $100,000 of equity and use it in different ways so it grows over time, and so all your eggs aren't just in the one basket? From the buy side, right? Maybe it's, hey, we got to get you set up with a financial advisor and an insurance agent, so that way we can put life insurance in place, right? Disability insurance. You're buying an asset, especially if they have a family, right? How do we protect the family just in case something happens? And those are things that I think a lot of agents don't actually talk to their clients on. We feel like we just help them with the real estate side, but I believe that is part of the real estate side. And our clients need to protect this asset, because a lot of times it's the biggest asset that they're ever going to buy. And so how do we fully protect them? And so what are some of the things that you can do through your partnerships, right? One of the partnerships that we do is through a home warranty company, and they have no service fees, right? So, if something breaks, they don't have to pay a service fee. And again, hundreds, if not thousands, a service fee is what, $65, $75? Not a big deal. But what if 3 things go wrong in the first 12 months, right? They actually, my HVAC company actually will do free servicing for the HVAC spring and fall, right? So that's, $100, $150 savings each time. What about with your lender, right? Could they offer low lender fees, origination fees, right? Could they run special programs? One of the programs our lender provides is free refinances for life. How do you explain that to a buyer and articulate it, why that's important to them? Because they haven't even bought a house yet. They're not even thinking about the refinance. But how can I explain to them that, hey, by working with my lender partner, you're going to get these other benefits, and you may not need them right this second, but you may need them in the future. And so a refinance, right, that could be a couple $1,000s in fees potentially, right, depending on who your partner is and how much they charge. Think about your vendors. One of the roofing companies we partner up with, they offer free inspections. Doesn't matter how many times they go out to the house after a storm. When we get, I'm in Ohio, and now all of a sudden we have a ton of tornadoes this year. But Think about that, right? Every time we have a big storm, message goes out to my SOI, my database. Hey, if you own a home, right? If you need someone to come out to your house to look at your roof, your siding, right, your windows, or whatever the case may be, I got someone for you that will do a free inspection. And then we talked about the family wealth team, right? Maybe it's a trust attorney, a will and trust attorney, your insurance agent. I can tell you, even from your SOI and past clients, partnering up with an insurance agent. As a real estate agent, a couple of years ago, I was underinsured on my personal property. Just this last month, I learned that I was overinsured on one of my Airbnbs, right? So having the right partnership in place could cost hundreds, if not thousands of dollars. And, my Airbnb that I was overinsured on was around flood insurance. I don't deal with flood insurance here in Central Ohio, but where my Airbnb is, right? I didn't know as a consumer. I didn't know what was normal and not normal for that area. Come to find out, it's a couple $1,000s. I was just insured wrong. And so, do we have the right partnerships in place to make sure, our clients are protected? And then, the biggest thing is, right, you take all of these, this value add, right, that the value advantage, and it's how do you put it into your presentation, your consultation. And so when you think about buyers, and then we'll talk about sellers, buyers want three things. They want selection. So they want to know that by working with you, they have the ability to have, the best selection possible of homes. So are you articulating to them that you can help them with FSBOs, that you have access to expired and canceled listings, that you can work with them on new construction, that you have the off-market opportunities, that you have access to every single home that's on the market for sale? Are you explaining that to them? The second thing buyers want is the best price and terms. So how do we get the best price and terms for them? What are our strategies to do that? And then the third thing is the ease of doing business. How can I let the consumer know, the buyer know, that by working with me, I'm going to make this as easy and smooth as possible? Jon talks about it all the time, right? Right steps, right order, right? So by working with me, I'm going to make sure that we do the right steps in the right order, so that way we can get the right results. And if we do those things, doing business, right, with me, there should be an ease of it, right? Ease of doing business with me. Now, from a seller standpoint, what do sellers want? Sellers want the best price and terms, right? It's not always price, right? Maybe sometimes with a seller, terms went out, meaning maybe they want the 30 days post-closing possession, or maybe they want the suitable housing clause, right? So that way they feel like they aren't stuck selling their house if they don't find something. How can I get them the best price? Right? Hey, if I could show you a proven repeatable process that's backed by market research to sell your home for up to 18% more than the traditional agent, would you be interested in learning more about that? Second thing sellers want, they want it on the seller's timeline, right? Usually this is less time, right? This is kind of like the ease of doing business. This is kind of like the convenience factor, all of those things. But it's on the seller's timeline. See, the deal I'm trying to put together on the off-market situation, the timeline is very important to the seller. It's not necessarily the best price. The sellers have a lot of moving parts right now. They want to sell their home on their timeline. My clients are flexible. We're giving them all of the time that they need, right? That's important to the sellers, right? So as a listing agent, how are you able to craft your presentation and what you're going to bring to the table to let them know or show them how we can actually get their home sold on their timeline? And then the third thing sellers want is convenience, right? How can I make this as convenient as possible? Maybe that is, when we list the home, how many showings are we allowing, right? Is it selling it off market potentially? Is it limiting how many people come through the door? And so when you're crafting your presentation, buy side, seller side, we need to think of these three things that buyers want and that sellers want. And then how do we take those three things and we provide value around those three things, and we can articulate it in a presentation format to where, again, at the beginning, I said, I want to create doubt. I never want to talk bad about any of my peers, my competitors, or anything along those lines. But my job is to create doubt as to why they would even want to have another conversation, right? After they're done with me and my presentation, they should be like, okay, Jon's the right person, right, to get our home sold. And so if you guys want some more clarity on this, if you guys want help on putting together your presentation, book the 7figurecall.com. Jump on a call with me, jump on a call with Kitchens. We're here to help you. I appreciate you listening in today. And I would love to see, in the comments, maybe some of the value adds that you're bringing to the table for your clients. What's working in your market? I'm a big believer that if it works, where you're at, it's going to work here in my market as well. So let's create community over competition. Let's continue to raise the bar of our industry and of our agents. And let's look forward to the second half of this year and the opportunity that it's going to create. Have a great day, everyone.